Oh, hello, Gearspace. My name is Adriana Knuff, and you're here with Selestium Modular. And this is a new business that I've just started. This is my first market, so I'm very glad to be here at the Dutch Modular Fest 2023. I have two things that I can talk about. The first is this module right here, which I'm calling Quiverer M5. And it is, by its basic definition, just a contact mic, a piezo module. But the way these screws are connected on here and the way the rubber bands are is you can begin to get some interesting, almost tonal aspects coming through, or sometimes some noise. I should say it's running into Monsoon, which is running as reverb right now, so a bunch of reverb. But the idea here was to be able to create a space where you could potentially put different types of rubber bands around this and sort of get very different sounds from it. So let me just put another one on here. And I'm playing it with a feather, and this is because there's this American instrument called the mountain dulcimer, which is basically a drone-based instrument which is often played with feathers, and so there's a bit of an inspiration from that. So the idea was to create something that is a little bit, that has some space for playing around with how you arrange the rubber bands. You can then also put springs on there, of course. And the idea is you can attach whatever you want on here. The design of the faceplate, I'm an artist by trade, and so I do a lot of stuff with outer space and imaginaries of outer space. And so what's on the faceplate is actually an image that I took of a star cluster, and where the screws are different stars in that star cluster. In the end, the faceplates will also be replaceable, so I can create another faceplate with a different set of screws on it, a different arrangement of it, that is going to create different types of sounds depending on how you arrange things. So Quiverer M5 is available through the website, 65 euros excluding VAT. So, and that's available now. And then there's another one that I can also talk about. So then the other module that I wanted to talk about is this one, which is called Xenokinetics. And it's what I started out with. Oh, actually, should I redo it? Well, we don't do any sound with this because there's some issues with it. So, and I don't want that going through quite yet. Yeah. Okay, so basically Xenokinetics was what I started my business with. It's still under development, but hopefully will be finished by the end of October. The idea was to break out of the temporal grid, the four to the floor grid, by creating what I call cycles. And cycles, I'm thinking of everything from the quantum to the cosmic. And so you define a cycle by the number of milliseconds in that cycle, and then sort of a scaling factor to bring those cycles into a human sort of understanding. So think about the orbits of the planets, right? So you can bring those all into a kind of the same temporal range, and then get interesting phasing relationships. So each time a cycle completes, a trigger is outputted. So there's 8 different trigger outputs. And then those can go trigger whatever else you want in your system. So basically think about it as 8 different clocks that are being output. You have, excuse me. So once you're in a particular mode, so this image you can think of as an icon that represents a set of 8 different cycles. Once you're within that mode, you can change sort of the division, the scaling factor, by increasing and decreasing the scaling factor for particular things. So this set of cycles right now is about the planets. So this one is representing Mercury, this one is representing Venus, and so forth, down through all the planets. And so there are 8 sets of 8 different cycles that you can put in here, which you can adjust. And then instead of also doing the triggers, there's also an audio output. So there's an internal sound generator. So basically the triggers then trigger internal envelopes and internal waveforms controlled by those envelopes, which are then outputted, summed through this jack. The knobs there's an internal analog chaos generator, and so the knobs allow you to either decrease the cycle or increase it, and change how much of the chaos is adjusting that. Because of course, no cycle in nature is perfect. There's always a bit of chaos involved. There's also going to be MIDI output, because as an artist, I designed this for stuff I wanted it to do in a sense, and I also want the MIDI output to be able to control lights in the future. Everything is configurable through text files that you put on an SD card, which in the final version will be accessible from the front. And also you can adjust all of the musical parameters and so forth. And so pricing is still to be finalized, but $350 to $400 probably, and hopefully coming out the end of October. But if you're interested, go to the Selestium Modular website, modular.celestium.net, and then you will be able to sign up for a wait list on it. So thank you.